I could have dug through. I know it was early on in Third Strike's life. Yeah, Snake, I can think of a situation where more mechanics doesn't make a game more complex. If there's a mechanic that destroys other mechanics, which is exactly the argument Viscant is making. These numbers don't mean that much. Or rather, they do mean things, but it's like these aren't the same as like the computer numbers, and they're just like they vaguely track wins and losses. Okay, that's what they do. But it's very like it's not arbitrary, but like it's hard to discern meaning from those numbers. It's like a combination of who wins the most and who plays the most. So it's not just a raw who's the best player. I thought Undertale was a sick game. I have lots of nice things to say about it. My favorite character was Alphys. My second favorite character was probably Sans. I don't know, it's hard. I liked all the characters. Every character was well written as fuck. Alphys reminds me of people I used to know. That's why I like her so much. I found her extremely cute in all her flaws. No, the PC numbers work. I mean, like the arcade numbers work differently from like our numbers. It's not. It's. I was operating under the fucking the idea that you didn't even know what BP was. It's a completely different system than PP and BP. In fact, PP doesn't exist in this system at all. Don't go thinking it's like fucking, oh my god, I've only ever seen a guy with like 2,000 PP. It's not like that. It's completely different. Completely different algorithm. I can't tell you what's like a lot and what's not a lot. I don't remember. I don't know what like the average, what the skill tracker is there. I could give you an approximate skill, like numbers to skill level in console version. But here I have no clue. That's kind of a late jump. That could pretty much only be a cross-up medium kick. I don't like that stand strong he spaced it with. Whoa! That could have been a stand forward punish, but what he did was fine. It did not matter. This is a cool matchup. I like this matchup. Kind of hate costumes and Virtua Fighter for introducing them. Whoa. I like costumes. I have homework that I didn't do today that I need to do tomorrow. I've got 2 classes I don't want to go to tomorrow that I have to go to. I have to fall asleep pretty soon in order to go to those classes. I've got a chore I still have to do today that I haven't done yet, but my mom would be like upset if I didn't do it, so I really want to do it. My mom's mad because I'm bringing Kenichi over for the weekend, even though I told her like 2 weeks in advance. Because she didn't clean up the house. I don't think it matters. House looks pretty good already. Stand fierce, that was cool. Kenichi is my Japanese pen pal. I don't know why I said his name instead of just introducing him as a description. That was a good sweep. Cool option select. Whoa. I wonder how Viscant feels about all those posts. The new Wednesday night fights. Whoa, we got him? Got him. Roll couldn't recover fast enough. You can modify costumes and it won't modify hitboxes, I don't think. I think they're separate parts of the game's engine. It's purely graphical. No, I think a lot of people agree with Viscant, so I don't know. I know that those comments became kind of well known because a lot of people because they were controversial basically. A lot of people agreed and a lot of people disagreed. Most costumes still work even if the opponent doesn't have the DLC. It depends on what platform you're playing on. But I think as of Ultra, like, everyone has the DLC for almost every costume. To just see them. I guess I'll click on this. Jesus fucking Christ. It's Rufus? Oh my lord. No, but I'm like wondering why specifically because Street Fighter 4 is out. And it wasn't out 10 years ago. And I imagine it must have changed either changed his perception or I would think he would hate Street Fighter 4 for the reasons he describes there. He went for the reset because he needed it. Yeah, that might be important. I feel like Viscant's the person who needs to understand that, like, he's only speaking for his own opinion. I feel like he's arguing that everyone else needs to come to the understanding that... He's making an argument that everyone else needs to understand that they shouldn't diss a Ferrari. But he doesn't know at all that his game is the Ferrari. In fact, like, if you asked everyone what the thing that they wanted most was, most people would probably say Street Fighter 4. Most people would say, like, fucking, if you wanted a Geo Metro or a Ferrari, most people would say Ferrari. If you ask most people, do you want ST or Street Fighter 4, most people would say Street Fighter 4, even from, like, a strategic perspective. Even if you just said which game was more strategic. It's like, he's the odd man out here. It's okay to only like ST and not like Street Fighter 4. There's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to only like ST and not like Third Strike. It's okay to only like Third Strike and not like ST. But he's making the argument that everyone else is wrong. But not, like, if that's so, then everyone could easily make the argument he's wrong. I wonder how I'd feel about seeing all of me talking about stuff. I haven't played that much ST. I just used to play it on GGPO. I'm, like, okay at it. I obviously don't have as much of an understanding of it as he does. So on one hand, I want to say I can't possibly have an opinion on whether Third Strike is more strategic. But the problem is, I read his opinion, and it seemed to imply to me that he didn't have any fucking knowledge about Third Strike at all. That's not going to work. It kind of worked. It worked in the worst possible way. I mean, it's not like I haven't played ST a lot. It's just that, or not a lot, but like, it's not like I haven't tried to get into it. It's just like I kind of hate everything that makes ST ST. ST is Super Turbo. It's the final version of Street Fighter 2, except it's not actually the final version because there's been one since then. It's actually been a couple since then. There was Hyper Fighting after ST. There was, I mean, there were like a bunch of like spin-off games like fucking Turbo Revival and shit. And then there was Online Edition not so long ago. Anime is not just a on or off switch. Anime is a slider. And the slider's turned up pretty high for MVC, I feel like. I feel like in the spectrum of anime games, MVC is high enough that people could call it an anime game. But I feel like there is no... I feel like the distinctions are ultimately kind of arbitrary. It's like fucking genrering music. It ultimately doesn't mean that much. Or rather, the reason it's so difficult past a point is because there's degrees of like trueness and non-trueness. Truth and untruth. You can have games that are like an anime game and also like a more traditional 2D fighter. And then you can have songs that are like a country song but also like a metal song. Just because they have the things that have both. New Rival, I don't know what the fuck that is. I remember it's my recollection is World Warrior Championship Edition, Turbo, Super Turbo. Guilty Gear is quite anime. The most anime games are the actual anime games, such as Persona 4, a decent example of an anime game. The thing about genrefying things is that people only have qualifications for genres. They don't have qualifications for like non-genres. It's not like if this song has a guy tapping a drum beat that's a guy hitting the pail of a trash can. It's not like that automatically makes it like fucking, I don't know, alternative. Alternative is such a vague genre anyway. It's not like the presence of an electric guitar doing power chords automatically makes something metal. Or maybe it is. But what I should say is it's not like, oh my god, this can't be classical because there's an electric guitar doing power chords. Well, maybe classical, that's a bad example. This can't be smooth jazz because there's an electric guitar doing power chords. It's like, maybe it can. There's no dequalifiers for genre. And in a similar way, you can't have like, oh my god, this can't be an anime game because, I mean, in a literal sense, it can't be an anime game if it's not anime. So I guess in that sense, Marvel is not anime. Ooh. Relentless Jump Fierce is cheap as fuck. They'd make this huge fucking point to remove Sakura Jump Fierce, and then they make something 10 billion times worse with Relentless Jump Fierce. That's what I'm getting at, Jibka. Is that there's a bunch of qualifiers for anime. I agree with those qualifiers. A lot of anime games do have those. And Marvel does check them, so I would say Marvel is anime. But you don't have things where it's like, it's not an anime game if so and so. Which is why I think it's just pointless to even have the entire discussion of whether something's an anime game or not. Vampire Savior does have air dashes for some characters. For one character. It does have chain combos for everyone. Really dirty mix-ups? Not really. Maybe for some characters. I prefer a game with really broken mix-ups to a game with no broken mix-ups. Playing a fighting game with no mix-ups is really awful. I've done it. When I think about how I have to be awake tomorrow at 8 a.m., I get sad. When I think about how I have to be awake tomorrow at 8 a.m. in order to do something I don't want to do, I get even sadder. When I think about during that day tomorrow I have to do my homework, I get sadder still. What other things make me sad? That was good. I don't even think he needed the forward dash. Maybe you do. I don't remember with that setup. Point blank EX Stinger. No, Viscant's opinions were fine. I was already in a bad mood today. Because of financial difficulties, I suppose. But not like give Baff a donate financial difficulties, because it will make no difference. Donates only affect whether or not I eat pizza. Law school financial difficulties. I could have done my homework tonight. I chose not to. I felt kind of useless today because I didn't do it. I was setting myself up for a fall. I didn't feel useless. I felt unproductive. It's kind of a different thing. I feel like I should have done something today instead of just stream and sleep. I've probably been at it for a while. 5 hours, 30 minutes. I remember like the first time I streamed like 3 hours, I was like, oh my god, I streamed 3 hours. Our group project is unfortunately like a game of chicken. You all get the grade of the guy who wants the, like, who's willing to settle for the highest grade. And that guy does all the work. Everyone's like, well, I would do the work, but I really don't want to, but I'll do it if it means I get at least a 50%. Really awful game of chicken. That's why you always gotta get into groups with lots of girls. They've got higher standards. Girls are better at the education system. Oh, the double jump's strong. That shit's good. I hate that you're writing an essay, King Hamsies, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you're writing that essay, but actually reading your comment made me happy because it reminded me I'm done writing essays for the year. Is that really sad, though? I'm not trying to make some big, like, red pill argument here. But from what I understand, for the most part, women make less money than men because they are less aggressive in pursuing higher work, which is unfortunately Societal, probably. I mean, it's not fully societal, but you know, it's a behavioral thing that's going to be extremely hard to beat. Um, and also because men are willing to do a lot worse work. The classic example is that there's like fucking whatever, a majority of female school teachers when everyone wants to be a school teacher, especially women. And there's like no underwater welders. And underwater welding is insanely dangerous. And the people who underwater weld make crazy money. And 95% of underwater welders are male. That's because 0 women are pursuing underwater welding. Women make about the same amount of money as men in similar positions, but women do not pursue the same kinds of positions men do. The positions men tend to pursue, I shouldn't say that, because no one really wants those kinds of positions. The remaining 5% are indeed women. Well. Oh, that crossed up? Are you kidding me? He probably hit on the front and then still crossed up. That's like unblockable. Underwater welding is like, there's so many things that could go wrong and kill you. that was clutch. Let's say fucking miners. Most miners are men. I will grant that mining is often a position in which physical strength matters and thus men are better. I will say that. There are positions that men do better than women, and mining is probably one of them. There are positions where women do better than men, and mining is probably not one of them. I don't know. I don't know what modern mining is like. Maybe it doesn't really matter how strong you are for mining nowadays. But most miners are men. I know that. Nice. Confirm. And the thing is, there's no movement to put women in position of miners. There's no like, oh my god, we need more female miners. Oh, never mind. I take it all back. Spherical Man shut me the fuck down. I had to keep my mouth shut. There are female miners and they get paid less. Again, if they get paid less, that's not necessarily an injustice. It depends on what mining is like and whether men are better at it. If it's about operating fancy machinery, then women probably should be making the same amount men are. And if they don't, that sucks. I don't know if there's still people who take pickaxes to stone or anything like that. Probably not. But, you know. Oftentimes, even if you remove... That's not a punish. He was expecting the backdash. You can't easily react between those two options. Ultra 2 will catch release or backdash, but it won't catch immediate forward dash. But like jab will catch immediate forward dash. Women are less aggressive at negotiating pay than men. I don't know whose fault that is, if anyone's. That doesn't really sound like men's fault. That doesn't really sound like women's fault. I don't even know how you would correct that. That's like a complex societal problem. Like, I would believe in a heartbeat that's true, but I wouldn't know what the fuck to do about it. Standardize all pay raises. Force companies to have qualifications for getting raises. Like, there's something fundamentally unfair about forcing a woman to behave more like a man in order to get paid more. But also, like, that was nice. It's not gonna get full connect. It was not nice. It was actually a big mistake. What if it was a car Ultra too? That would have been crazy. Oh, that's a good punish. Resolve forward is fast enough, but only barely, I think. I think it's like a 1 or 2 frame punish. This is... I don't know the names of either of these players. The replayer's name says Kawanishi, which is a Japanese last name. How does Cara work? How are you... Are you actually asking like me to explain the Cara system? Because I can. But I just need to know if you're asking a very specific question or a very general one. I could talk about cars for kind of a while. That's my warning. Alright, let's see here. So in Street Fighter 2, I don't know which version of 2 created these, but there's an input correction system that's been present in every Street Fighter called Kara's, and it's actually like made its way to other fighting games too, because it's kind of a good idea. Where if you make a mistake in input, then correct the input very quickly, the game will assume that you meant to do the second one. And by very quickly, I literally mean within a frame. Ninja. I'm pretty sure I've already done that though. So what happens is the game will think that you hit stand roundhouse, let's say, on 1 frame. Let's say you do like towards down punch down forward, okay, in like 4 frames. The game will think you did crouching hard punch for 1 frame. It'll be like, oh yeah, crouching hard punch. You hit down and you hit punch. I know what to do here. And then the next frame, it'll be like, oh shit, that's the that's a down forward. That actually, if you meant to do that, that actually makes your move into a Shoryuken. And the game just assumes that you probably meant to do a Shoryuken. So for 1 frame, you're doing a crouching punch, and then you get a Shoryuken immediately after that. So it's the Shoryuken, if you do it like a Kara, it almost never matters. But a Kara comes out 1 frame slower because there's 1 frame of doing like another different move. And it started as an input correction system, but then there ended up being a bunch of good, bad bugs that were associated with it. The classic one is a Kara throw. So what happens is you have a move where it moves even on the very first frame. Most moves don't, but some do. So you'll have the move, like let's say stand roundhouse, and that has like a little bit of forward motion on the first frame. And then you do like a throw the next frame. The game will be like, oh, you just meant to throw. Even though like the game isn't very good at determining what you meant to do. It just fucking reads the most complex input it can, given the timing difference of 1 frame. So the game will be like, oh, you meant to do a throw here, I understand now. And it will attempt to fucking do a throw, but you've got the forward motion on that first frame of the stand hard kick, and then the throw. So the throw comes out a little like further forward. That was at first an accident, I think. But then they started programming it on purpose a bunch of times. Like they could have removed it from Third Strike if they wanted to, after like New Generation Second Impact, but they didn't. They like left a bunch of car throws in, and they even added characters who deliberately had car throws, for better or for worse. Q's probably not an accident. Chun-Li's probably not an accident. And then they made a really big deal of intentionally putting them in Street Fighter 4, where it was just like, check out Ken's step kick. It's got a ton of forward motion on the first frame, which means you could make a really good car throw out of it. And then they do that with like, they did that with Ultra with like Oni's towards forward. They were like, we added forward motion on the first frame, which literally does nothing except makes it into a better Kara. Like the total step kick is exactly the same, but the Cara throw from the step kick now, like the where the movement actually happens is sooner, which means it's a better Cara throw. Anyway, that's one use of Karas, but you can actually, like Cara throws, you can actually do Karas into like a ton of shit, and it depends on it depends on complexity basically. Some moves, there's a little secret hierarchy of moves where the game will prefer some moves to others in cancel. Like you can't Cara like a stand fierce into like you can't Cara like an ultra into a stand fierce because even if you do the stand fierce one frame later, the game automatically looks for the most complex input it can, and those complex inputs are programmed in by the devs. So they programmed it such that the ultra is the most complex one according to the game's little hierarchy. But you can cancel a stand fierce into like an ultra. And the thing about Ryu, Evil Ryu, that little comment I just made there, is that Evil Ryu has a car on his Stairmount house. Or no, it's on a stand fierce, I think, actually. Yeah. I don't remember. Do not remember. I think it's on a stand fierce. Evil Ryu has a good Kara. He actually has several, but that's the best one. Evil Ryu has a good Kara, and if he did a Kara Ultra, it would have had dramatically more range, but had almost the same punish ability. Like, he still would have gotten the Ultra in time to punish. But it would have moved farther forward, so it wouldn't have fallen out. But also, like, thinking to do that Kara would be, like, such an insanely specific thing, because the Kara will almost never matter. But in that situation, it would have done a fuck ton of damage. Like, it would have not fallen out. And there's a bunch of other uses for Karas. Plinks are a kind of Kara. The way that Street Fighter 4's engine works is unique compared to other previous fighting games in that it actually registers like the second input of a Kara as a unique separate input. Like the game, it's normally impossible to get two attacks on adjacent frames, or like a button twice on two adjacent frames. If you hit stand strong twice, like once on one frame and once on the next frame, the game will just think that you held stand strong for 2 frames. Okay, it doesn't know. Like it'll be like, oh, the button's held down, because every single frame that we process, the button is currently being depressed. But if you do a plink, what happens is you're hitting like a medium button and you're carring it into a light button, and when you hit, what happens there is the game, when it sees a light button and a medium button pressed at the same time, if you just hit jab and short, or like jab and strong together at the same time, the game will be like, well, strong is a higher priority than jab, so we'll do jab, and that's just purely based on like, you know, I don't know, they just program that in. And it's super consistent with all the characters. You can, yes. Yes, that. The game will take a strong and a jab to be the same as hitting strong. So if you do strong and then Kara into strong into jab, what the game reads is strong being Kara'd into strong and jab together at the same time. And the reason it does Karas like that, I should have actually mentioned that. Let's say I do down forward punch, okay? Let's say I'm trying to do an EX fireball. I do quarter circle forward, and then one punch, and then a second punch. So what the game actually does is it adds up my inputs. So like it's like, well, he hit these 2 punches so close together, he probably meant to hit them at the same time, because I hit them within 1 frame of each other. It'll be like, oh, he was probably shooting for an EX fireball, which, you know, I probably was, because there's no reason to do quarter circle forward, then 2 punches 1 frame apart. I just hit 1 punch button if I wanted a normal fireball. But there's a very easy reason to believe that I fucking wasn't quite precise with my fingers. So it just, like, a lot of people don't even realize that they're not doing perfect motions because the cars just fix all their motions for them. And that's been a system in Street Fighter, like, since the beginning. Anyway, what the game actually does when you do a plink is strong and then jab and strong together on those 2 adjacent frames. It, like, sees your 1 button and then realizes you meant to actually hit 2 buttons. Even though you didn't, you meant to hit them in sequence. So what you'll get is a strong on 1 frame, and then on the next frame you'll get jab and strong, which the game just reads as a strong, unless you're doing an EX move. So you'll have, like, when you're trying to hit a link, you'll have the 1 frame window, and in that 1 frame window you can either get the strong by itself, or the jab and the strong together, which is just read as a strong. So you've got two opportunities right next to each other to get the Lincoln to stand strong. And that's what's happening with a Plink. A Plink is a kind of Cara. It increases your success of getting a one-frame link, or any frame link, by exploiting the Cara system. And if you're curious about how this matters now, Street Fighter V still has the Cara system. It is intact. It is fully intact. And it also actually still has Plinks. But you don't really need them because links are so big. Oh yeah, there's one other little piece to this puzzle. A lot of people are saying that Street Fighter V has removed Kara's, which is wrong. What they're actually referring to is that it removed Kara throws. And what that means is they removed all the attacks that moved you forward within one frame. I don't know if that's going to be true by the time the game's launched, but I think it's true in the current version of the game. Basically, the game devs knew what they were doing, and they were like... The thing about Cara is this is the only system where you can see it and you don't know how it works in like all of Street Fighter. Maybe not the only one, but one of very few. Like generally, if you know how to do all of your characters' normal specials and super and whatnot, like anything that you see someone do, you know how to do. Even if you're not good at it, you know how to do it. If you see Ryu do like Shoryuken F80C Ultra, all of a sudden you know that works. Because you know that Ryu can Shoryuken. You know he can apparently cancel that Shoryuken to super. You know he can apparently cancel that, to focus. You know he can apparently cancel that focus to dash. You know he can apparently dash and recover in time to Ultra. The entire thing is self-explanatory when you see it. That actually worked. I thought he was going to go under. But Kara's, even if you see someone doing a Kara, you're still going to be like, what the fuck is going on? It's the only non-self-explanatory thing in fighting games, in Street Fighter. Yeah, double tapping is much better than plinking in Street Fighter V. For a one-frame link, plinking is better. For a two-frame, even with perfect inputs. For a two-frame link, plinking and double tapping have the same efficiency. For a three-frame link, double tapping, three-frame link and above, double tapping is better. I actually agree. They were very smart about Ken. They were very smart in general with Street Fighter V. Oh, that was a really great crouch medium kick, but he was a bit early. But it's good that he thought to do it there. A Nemo combo. Ryu's name is bothering me. It says Kawanishi, but like... I've never actually heard that name. It sounds like a Japanese last name. It's got all the fucking requirements. Kawa means river and Nishi means west. So it could just refer to West River. But the thing is, there's a very actual common Japanese last name, Nishikawa, which is literally that exact meaning. But I've never heard Kawanishi. I've only ever heard Nishikawa. I've only heard them in the other order. This Ryu might be a guy named Kawanishi, and that's a real name. Or he might be a guy named Nishikawa with a username that's playing with his name. Or even something else. For all I know, Kawanishi might be a homophone for some other thing. Some other concept. You guys see Punko Seth recently? Damn it, how is it already midnight? Fuck my life. I'll be so happy when tomorrow's over. I won't even be because fucking I've got a hard day after tomorrow too. But then I'm partying for a week and a half. And then I've got finals and then I'm partying for a month. Punko was doing so good, I loved it. He played a lot different than he normally plays. He did play Rushdown Mix-Up really well. He played a bit ridiculous, but he played a lot less showy. Punko normally plays pretty showy even when he's playing good opponents. But he was playing super grounded and super consistent, but not super safe. He was playing pretty unsafe. You actually in Wyoming? I hear there's literally nothing in Wyoming. Is that true? Ugh. Depending on how Zangief works, I'm kind of terrified that he might be a bullshit character. Zangief, his current character design, I do not like. Or rather, I don't hate it yet. It seems really underpowered, but that's nothing to be afraid of. But Zangief terrifies me. Because I feel like his character design is too volatile. Like, Zangief has always had a volatile character design. But they made him even more themed on being good up close and even worse from afar. And even worse at closing in. It's like, I'm really terrified. He's going to be even an even greater extreme than before, which means even more bullshit mix-ups when he actually gets in, and even more like emphasis on never letting him get in. I feel like either Zangief is going to have too easy a time getting in which it's going to be incredibly bullshit, or Zangief is going to have too hard of a time getting in which he's going to be a poorly designed character who contributes nothing. Oh, visual personality. You know, like Seth's character design? I kind of like him because he's unique, but I can see that he's kind of boring in a weird way. I can see that he has no, like, I don't know, clear, distinct, defining features other than his lack of an abdomen. Zangief's character design right now is very, very prone to being under or overpowered, especially given matchups. I hope they do what they did with Dhalsim and Vanilla and just like fucking grind it out with every single character until all the matchups are okay. Because Dhalsim's another character who's very prone to being either under or overpowered for literally the opposite reasons. Too hard to get in on and too useless once you get in on him. Edgy Ryu is like my favorite name. Like, evil's really strong. Evil Ryu doesn't do a whole lot of evil things. He kind of is more edgy. I mean, Seth's not really made of metal. It's just his costume. I'm also curious who you're referring to with the metal person who steals moves, who did it first. I do think there's a lot of unoriginal stuff about his special move selection. Not really. His Shoryuken is unoriginal, his Fireball is unoriginal, his SPD is unoriginal. His Tauntaun is original as fuck. His Hyakuretsu Kyaku is moderately original. Edmund Ryu, I like that. I don't think anyone's had fucking anything even remotely close to the Tauntaun in any Street Fighter game. Or any, I don't know. I can't think of almost anything like that at all. It's literally a move that puts you in block stun or hit stun without hurting you. I don't know what the fuck Seth's made of. Maybe skin. It's not really clear. Wow. That was like... Oh, it wasn't even a punish. I was about to be really impressed. I was about to be like, wow, that was like high risk, low reward. What a good option Seth has. But it turned out it was no risk, no reward. If he hit Stand Fierce, it might have been a punish. He ulted so quickly, too, and it still didn't get there in time. I actually thought of that while I was thinking that, and I think Storm has one too, right? Fair wind and foul wind. But that doesn't put you in hit stun. It just moves you. Tauntaun has, like, part of it's the vacuum effect, and part of it is an invisible 0 damage hit that breaks armor and fucking reels you. Magneto's repulsor has no reel, and neither does Storm's. I didn't like Tauntaun, but now that you can't cancel into it, I kind of do like it. Now it feels like a move with good risk and reward. And it feels quite technical and thoughtful. Like, it's definitely good for Seth for him to get you to block it, and it's definitely even better for him to get you hit by it. Yeah, I really don't like character extremes that much. I don't like a character who's just OP someplace and like underpowered somewhere else. Nice punish! Very optimal. He waited for him to land. That was quite narrow. Punish window. Ouch. Is that an EX pull? That sucks. It's the worst move to get hit out of. How does the can't cancel into Tauntaun work? You have to cancel into EX Tauntaun, right? Yeah. This removed all cancels into Tauntaun, but EX still works. So you can pay 2 bars for that shit, which you would never do. You might. But it keeps his Crouch Fierce combos intact. EX Tauntaun canceled the Crouch Fierce. Look at all this meter. Seth actually has really good chip out options. But he was down around, so he wasn't going to use the meter for that. EX sure you can, but no EX pull. I almost kind of like that. That was a reset. The only thing that combos into EX Stomp is... Actually, Stand Fierce works now. I didn't used to. Stand Fierce and Close Stand Strong combo to EX Stomp. But EX Stomp is an overhead. Most people aren't really thinking about it because no Evil Ryu does it that much. I'm going to click on this link. Chaos Goose versus Yomi Dominion. Everyone likes Dominion. Everyone likes Honda versus a character with a good fireball. Honestly, I don't know this matchup, but it must be shit. I can't picture this is good for Honda in any universe. I bet this is like a 7-3. I wouldn't be surprised at all. Dominion's a good player too, which doesn't help. I wonder who Honda's worst matchup is. Maybe like Akuma? Since Akuma can like OS all his wake up options probably. Since like air fireballs probably ridiculously control Honda's ability to move. And ground fireballs too. Because he has reliable anti-air options and reliable 3-frame options to punish a lot of his bullshit. Maybe like Sandman House to punish certain versions of Headbutt, I don't know. Probably not. But I bet it's Akuma. Akuma has counterpick powers. Sometimes character, I think if he empty jumps he can, no. Some characters are, some characters have better jobs than others at being a character's worst matchup. Akuma is not the best Jodo, but he is the best at having counterpick powers. Even better than Evil Ryu, maybe. Seth is not that great, but he's really good at having counterpick powers. Counter hit strong. Interesting combo, Dominion. He canceled the EX boom immediately, which makes me think that he reacted to that, which is kind of cool. Crouch Fierce one of those, please. Okay, that's fine. I don't believe Crouch Fierce can't beat that. Oh, Honda Stand Fierce is nice. Oh my fuck. That was strange. What was he even planning to do? Was that it? Just to hide his hands motion? And to stand forward? That was really strange. It's not like that could ever be close stand forward or anything. He's got the super and he has no other things to use it on. He's probably going to have lots and lots of EX booms in a second. Lots and lots of free pressure. Yeah, here it comes. Gonna be a chip out super right now. Never mind. There should have been. That means he's not gonna do anything. He's just gonna fucking win. Turtle and win. There it is. Look, there's a claw. Look, there's a Ryu. Yamasan. Kem. I actually want to save this one. This seems like a good replay. Ooh, I'm nearly done with this one. I used to just like watch some of these every now and then whenever they were in my feed. I just watched like 15 minutes at a time. But ever since I started streaming, it's been like, ooh, I can watch this on stream. We can all spectate some Street Fighter 4 together. And these are Japanese uploads, so the guy probably doesn't even know I do them. And even if he found out, he probably wouldn't give a shit. Brilliant, right? Oh! Crouch jab run cancel, that's insanely minus. But he actually punished it with stand forward. Like he was like fucking ready for it or some shit. Really? That was very lucky for the Yulryu. This is Kawanishi again, it's the same guy. Of all the buttons he used, his punish happened to be airborne. Which would have normally made a really shitty punish. Wow, that was good. Evil Guy did a setup where Shuriken would have whiffed under him. And Evil Ryu punished it by doing a forward dash DP in the other direction. That's a really crazy punish. Crouch Fierce, very late. That's quite precise. Whoa, he probably meant that as a cancel. That, what? What just happened? That probably did not. That comboed. Was that, what just happened? Was that counter hit low forward? Into medium stomp? I thought it was low forward light stomp. Yeah, it was. Wow, what a weird combo. That's counter hit only. Counter hit low forward, canceled into medium stomp normally doesn't combo. And it does combo into light stomp, but light stomp you can't link Shoryuken. That was neat. Yeah, I watch KF98. Ultimate Match, or O2 Ultimate Match. I don't watch as much, but still sometimes. 98 I watch quite a lot. If you want to put some 98 on, I will take your link. And I will click on it. Counter hit low strong, stand strong, that's a combo. That might actually just be a combo anyway. Might be like a one frame link.